Brayshaw takes a beauty. That's it. I'm growing a beard this week.
Thank you. Time back on. That's Ruffcraft, big boy.
And we're back for I'm not sure which episode of the podcast, but I can safely say the biggest one yet. And right off the top, Gawny, I've got an announcement to make for the people. The moment we've all been waiting for has finally arrived, and we have finally got our hands on the Positive Lingers t-shirts.
This has been a long time in the making, Angus. The fact that got a run before introducing our guests is phenomenal.
Sorry, look, it's been a huge week, 9-0, Positive Lingers t-shirts, and our guest this week, who I'm sure you've got some notes on you. Would you like to?
I've got some notes.
Forgot my name.
The Shelton dog.
Most famously known for his when he was in the crowd for the Melbourne Geelong game and Channel 7 managed to find him.
Yeah.
But
huge.
also, I would say I was a Rove man, so I would say Rove.
So I was a Hamish and Andy Gappy. He was the guest referee for a lot of their competitions.
And basically the brains behind the whole production.
Yeah, you could say that. Wouldn't be true, but you could say it. Yeah.
None other than Ryan Shelton.
Ryan Shelton.
Guys, it's a privilege, especially I mean, there's never been a better time to be on a Melbourne Demons podcast than right now.
Exactly.
It's so exciting.
Well, you do realise, so we were organising this last week.
Yep.
If we were 8-0 and we lost and we were 8-1,
Would have found an excuse.
it would have been a hard podcast.
Oh, I don't think. I couldn't have come. It would have been. Horrible.
The first guest that's planned for the day we lose, if that comes around at some point, I feel for them.
That's a tough thing.
It's going to be a tough podcast.
I mean, there is a chance that you guys may never lose again.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't want to say it.
I mean, has that ever happened that a team's gone undefeated for the entire history of the club?
No. Well, we
I
could.
don't
Jim
think so.
Jordan. If Jim Jordan retired tomorrow, he would be 9-0.
Yeah, we got a young fella, James Jordan, who you'd be a fan of.
37
number 20.
pressure acts. Yeah.
Yes. Number 23, great Melbourne number. He is 9-0.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally just looked. I was on Instagram before and saw there was like a post that someone in this room clearly put up. 37 pressure acts. And I was like, I don't know what a pressure act is. I can imagine it's like an act of pressure.
Has to be, right?
Yeah, but then at what point does it become an act? Like what's the proximity to another player to count as an act of pressure?
I actually don't know.
Well, I only had 13, which means it can't be like a legitimate stat.
What's the most impressive, like day after when you do your review, what's the most impressive stat other than like goals and things? But is there a specific stat now in 2021 where everyone's like, shit, good job?
What is the most impressive stat?
Pressure act?
Yeah, well, James Jordan got 37.
James got 37. No,
Maybe
I've
it's got to be something to do with wingers. Maybe you're hard running on the far wing.
Meters gained.
Meters
for Eddie
gained.
Lang.
Meters gained's a big one that they all love next, like in the champion data sort of. Oh, he's had 1,000 meters gained. And
Yeah, okay.
I still don't really know,
Mate,
what that
don't
means.
you dare say what... Okay, well, let's walk through it, shall we? There's two words, meters and gained.
Yeah.
What do you think it could possibly mean?
Yeah, but do you lose meters if you kick the ball backwards?
Yes.
Well, that's ridiculous because you're switching the play.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's too bad, mate. You're losing meters. Therefore, they take, I think, as far as I'm aware, where you kick the ball, or if you run, where you gain possession of the ball, if you run 30 metres forward and kick it 50, that's
you get
80
9.
metres gained.
80.
But shouldn't there be another stat then where it's like, yes, there's meters gained, but maybe there should be meters gained assist. So it's like you've gone backwards to go forward.
But
so
we've
that's
scored a
an
goal
assist.
from that.
And then the goals come from...
Call up champion data on the way home, and we'll see if we can get that one
I'll
up.
call Stephen Champion. Speak to him about the data.
So if we run a centre bounce route
Yes.
where the guy is getting the ball coming towards me and he gets it,
Runs backwards.
he's getting
He's
negative
losing
5
meters,
metres,
yeah.
but getting a centre bounce clearance.
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous
Well, if he
stat.
kicks it then forward...
Yeah. No, that's a ridiculous
This
stat.
is getting into year 9 maths, which is probably not your strong suit.
No.
Is anyone like playing for stats? Like, do you think there are players that are like?
Well, who do
playing?
you think? You watch a lot of Melbourne footy.
I do. I don't know. I couldn't say, but because I guess that's why I'm interested in what are the stats that are most coveted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I follow NBA, and I know that like Wilt Chamberlain is famously known as a stats. He's going
Loves
for
his
stats.
stats.
You know, like if he needs more rebounds,
He goes and gets
he'll
them.
just go do rebounds. But is there anyone on the team?
I
That you reckon-
don't think so.
That's the safe and smart answer.
Yeah, I don't
Can't
think
really
so.
throw
I
someone on
think
the
I think
bus.
Bailey Fritsch loves a goal.
Yeah.
But a goal is probably slightly different.
He's a
I
forward.
love him getting a goal.
Yeah, we all
exactly.
love him getting a goal. In fact,
Yeah.
he has
Go get more goals. That's a good thing, right?
Great
he
stat.
has multiple games where he just has 4 kicks and they're all goals. That's all he
impressive.
does, which is great. He does a little bit more, but let's for argument's
Yeah,
sake,
well-
that's all he does.
I feel like Bailey Fritsch. I'm nearly 40.
Yeah.
I grew up like Dunstall era
Yeah.
of like full forwards. I feel like Bailey Fritsch is a classic full forward looking person.
Yeah, he is.
He kind of has that svelte kind of like
doesn't leave the 50 ever.
like lead mark goal. Like you don't see many of them these days.
No,
I
you
feel.
don't. I would have thought you would have ran with David Neitz over Dunstall.
Well,
But I mean, Dunstall.
Well,
That's fair
I mean,
enough.
Nita was sort of. I guess he was a bigger sort of centre half forward.
Yeah,
in my,
actually,
in my
the
Frit
eyes.
is,
corrected.
he's
not
slimmer.
David Neitz.
No, he's
Yeah,
definitely
sorry.
not.
That's why he ran with it.
Yeah, that is why I ran with it. Yeah.
Anyway, a couple of things we got to go off the top.
Yeah, we just got to go through some
is
formalities
we
here.
got to talk
Great.
about the top positive lingers. Have you heard about the segment?
I hadn't
Positive
heard of that.
language?
No,
You've never heard of the
Never heard
hashtag?
of
No, I never heard of the hashtag.
That's,
Okay,
so we're not quite there.
Yeah.
Let's go back to beginning. We found this guy in Langdon really interesting because you're a private school boy, correct?
Big
St.
time.
Kevin's boy.
Yes.
No.
Understood. You've got terrible mail, Max.
I
Oh,
didn't
you
say
thought
that.
St Kevin's?
Well, he thought St. Kevin's.
No, it's St. Leonard's, isn't it?
St Leonard's, yeah. Yeah.
Across the road from Haileybury in Brighton.
Yeah.
I don't know where you got
Yeah.
your mail from.
You
Yeah.
exclusively.
No, it's St. Leonard's. I just said it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a private school boy. So Ed's a private school boy, Melbourne grammar, top of the top,
Toorak.
almost.
Wow,
And
okay.
grew up on St George's Road in
Yeah.
Toorak and
Yeah.
looked over the city.
Yeah,
And
drank-
now he's
drank-
gone the complete other way and he lives in Fitzroy in a share house of 10 people and drinks
Wow.
out of keep cups. And so he's had this full transformation. And we're fascinated by that because Angus knew him from Sandy Dragons days
Yeah.
when he was private
Private
things.
school boys days.
Yeah, okay.
And
So we thought we'd just every week we'd come up with something that Ed does positively, and share it to our podcasters.
Love
and it's grown some legs.
Yeah.
He's playing some good footy as well. Which
it
helps.
started with we just used to have a bit of fun at his expense, and it got a bit to the point where people said we want some more positivity, stop being so negative, and then the positive lingers stuff started and hence the hashtag. And
Has he been on the pod?
So that's the big one.
That's
Oh,
a big
shit.
piece
Do you want me
of-
to talk to him?
No,
Okay.
well he has requested a dinner at Attica.
You know that joint?
Which is
Oh, Attic, of course.
a
Yeah.
really expensive wine bar restaurant.
Yeah.
He wants a wine pairing,
in Ripon Lee.
which couldn't be a more like if you're if you're trying not to be a private schooler. And then
As
to come on
payment to
exactly
come- Yeah.
the most expensive exclusive restaurant this side of the equator, just about. I think
I mean, the privilege is being on the podcast.
Yeah, that's what we think.
That's-
But he doesn't share that opinion, unfortunately, Ed, around the corridors.
he doesn't.
So, for example, we've shared things like he's started an ab club post weights every 10 the 10 minutes at the end of weights. There's like multiple people that join his ab club.
What, just to work on abs?
Yeah.
Work on abs
Specifically.
which is a great thing.
Separate from the club routine.
Separate
Yeah.
from the club routine, which
That's
above and
showing
beyond.
off.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a little bit of showing off. Went out for dinner one-on-one with Goody the other day.
Yeah.
Just little things like that.
Is that a big deal to go out
It
for
is.
dinner
It
with the
is
coach?
because he's
one-on-one?
like that's very mainstream, like,
Yeah.
and he's so like anti-establishment, anti-normality. So for him to go and do something in a team context with our head coach,
Would he be inviting? Would he be inviting Goody, or has Goody invited him?
Yeah, see, I'd love to find that out when we have him on, but unfortunately, we don't have
These are the
$4,000
questions.
in the budget.
These are the questions we want to ask. Well, we will be eventually when these shirts sell.
So the Eddie Langdon segment for today.
Are we going with it now?
Well,
Straight up?
Yeah, we got a jingle for
Jeez.
the Ed Langdon segment. We actually sing it. We don't. These guys can't press the button, unfortunately, for the Ed Langdon segment. But
Yeah, okay.
do you want to?
Yeah,
you
well,
got the first line. Or
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
It's Eddie Langdon's
Yeah.
segment.
So that's his famous Sticky Fingers song.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loves Sticky Fingers.
he
He's
loves
seen
Sticky
Sticky Fingers live in concert 8 times.
Jesus.
So,
Anyway, his
Wow.
Keep Cup.
His Keep Cup.
Yeah.
So big Keep Cup guy because he went one year. One of the things we love about Ed is he's very socially and environmentally conscious. So
Okay.
he went one year where he didn't buy brand new clothes. He only went to a Salvos or a second-hand joint to buy his clothes.
I bet he made a big deal about it too.
Big time.
Just
Yeah.
remember, he
And-
lived on St George's Road.
St. George's
Let's just
Road.
Keep that in the back
Okay.
of our mind.
Okay.
And has started up taking big use of Keep Cups for coffee primarily. Famously walked away from a cafe in Fitzroy when they wouldn't accept his Keep Cup
Yep.
in the height of COVID.
Yep.
Whoa.
And saw him at the game this weekend. We've got the big water coolers and Powerade stuff with the little plastic cups on top, paper cups. And he drinks pre-game. He has a coffee on the way in out of his Keep Cup, then goes to the water jug and pours the same Keep Cup, uses it to hydrate pre-game.
Doesn't do single-use plastic.
Doesn't do it, which is
Good on him.
Which we love.
Yeah.
I'd love the water boy one day to come running out with his keep card.
That's the next step.
That is the next step, isn't it?
Maybe like a little team.
That would be great. Because COVID, unfortunately, brought back some of those environmental things that we don't like, e.g. plastic cups that we had to chuck out because we weren't allowed to share and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Lingers he wouldn't have it. And he
Yeah.
just said, nah, I'm not standing for this. I'm not engaging in this. And he walked away from his favourite. He drinks coffee every day. He's a big coffee guy.
He's got beliefs,
Yeah.
and he stands by them.
So that's basically the segment. We do that for 3 or 4 minutes, and it's grown some legs enough to get some T-shirts.
So I'm flat. Last week I got feedback that I need to ease up on the content. I'm pushing the content out pretty hard. Commenting
Positive Lingers content.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
hashtagging it every time. And part of me thinks, because Ryan, you've got your ear to the ground. You operate in this sphere, the social, cultural sphere, where you podcast and a TV show that you did last year as well.
Yeah, last year.
Was it the
web-
the
web
the
show.
ABC
website
show.
Your own website show.
Oh yeah, do that, and
which
then I
you
was
do once a month.
yes, do that. Yeah,
And then your 2 podcasts or one?
just one.
Just the Imperfects.
Yeah, the Imperfects. Yeah,
Which
yeah.
I want to get to later.
We'll get to that later. But if you haven't heard of it, makes me think that I'm not pushing the positive linger stuff hard enough.
Well, maybe you need to spread more people. Need to sort of get more people on board to be spreading it.
Yeah, okay.
It's
I
only
like
coming
that.
from one avenue. You need like more avenues. Doing
Okay.
it, you know.
Well,
So you
well,
want me to start doing it?
so probably you jump on board, Maxi, on the next obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The shirts are going. I think the shirts will help because a
Yeah.
lot of people have asked.
So how can we get the shirts? Do you have it down or is it me?
Uh,
It's me. $30.
which is a I'm at a conflict, internal conflict, because we're gonna donate all the money that we sell.
Any T-shirt that is sold, all proceeds, every dollar
Mm-hmm.
is going to MND.
That's great.
Which is our Queen's birthday big freeze at the G game.
So every dollar, so $30
Times
the whole times however many.
how
yeah.
many we sell.
Well, that's great.
Yeah,
it is,
so
but for the people, I
you're
was
unsure
fighting,
about the price.
I was fighting for a lower price. I know I was fighting for
but
a lower
it's a
price.
donation to MND.
It is. So
Yeah,
that's
so
what
you're
I,
fighting for less money. For
So when I
everything.
said
you were fighting
Yeah.
for less money to our charity.
so when I
This
led
is
with
a huge announcement.
when I led with internal conflict, you can see where it comes from.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's a good cause, MND, obviously.
Yeah.
So we'll get around that. I'm sure the shirts will sell out fast.
Hopefully
So
we
get in.
as
I
little
think
as possible.
to
donated
undo, Gus, you're pushing for lower price. I think you need to start pushing for a higher price now.
So
Like
$50 a
50
shirt.
bucks a shirt.
But where can they get them? The Demon Shop.
Well, you said you've got the information.
Yeah, the Demon Shop.
Demon Shop.
I dare say that's the one under the MCG.
Has to be.
But I would say online. Yeah.
There'll be an online aspect to it.
So that's Eddie Langdon done.
It is.
We want to talk about a little bit of demons, because hence the podcast.
Well, that's what we talk about.
Tell me, why are you a Melbourne supporter?
Dad. So
Yeah.
dad
Tends to be what happens with Melbourne supporters.
Yeah, so it's been so we go. So I go with pretty much every MCG game. Been going for since as long as I can remember with Dad, and then in the last sort of like sort of 20 years probably, which is most of my life.
Yep.
I go with a couple of other guys like Jeff and Pete, sometimes Sam. It's sort of like a core group. We always go, and it's never been so much fun as it is this year. This is just, it's amazing. I mean, they've all been great, but the Richmond game was, I saw like, do you guys know Broden Kelly? Do you know Broden, Auntie Donna?
Yes.
Big D's fan. And I think he commented on one of after that game, I think I saw him comment, which made me laugh. And he said, the best day of our lives. And it felt like that. It did. Like, it hasn't been, like, I remember still, like, I'm old enough to remember the 2000 season. The 2000 season, when we played
You were at a
grand
good
final,
age for that. That would have been around
It
late
was-
teens, yeah.
I was still too young to truly appreciate
Okay,
it,
yeah.
I think. But, you know, that was a time where I remember, it's sort of the last time I remember going to the footy and expecting to win.
Yeah.
Like until this year. And it's like
Wow.
going to the footy and expecting to win and being puzzled when we're challenged is like that's an amazing feeling.
It's a dangerous feeling to be at, though.
Look, I won't lie. Look, there is some PTSD. There is some, but it is really, really, really exciting to rock up to the footy and know that, well, we'll either win or if we don't win, something's gone seriously wrong.
Yeah, or it's going to be a genuinely good game.
Genuinely good game. We'll compete. There's so many good things to look forward to. There's so many areas of the ground where good things can happen. And like even now, it's like I was talking to someone yesterday about the last time we had a forward line like this.
Yeah.
And that was probably going back to kind of Schwartz, Neitz, Farmer, Robbo.
Jeez, there's some names.
Like
Ooze, Greeny.
Ooze, Greeny. Yeah, that was like the forward line of that year, of the 2000 year, I think it was around then. And now to have something sort of similar is just, it's amazing. And then sort of echoed on the back line and then in the middle, there's no weak spots.
And who would have thought it'd be Tom McDonald? I'm still puzzled. How was Tom McDonald?
Well, I heard yesterday that he's like completely changed his diet and now he's
changed
like
everything. He
only
only eats
eating.
meat.
He only
Only
eats like
meat.
full chickens, live chickens,
Which
correct?
is actually quite funny because I think he eats a little bit more. He has
okay.
cows every now and then as well. But he, like our forward line, is quite our three tall forwards. So McDonald, Brown, and Wiedemann.
Yeah.
Two of them are on the same diet, only eat meat. McDonald and Wiedemann. And
Yeah.
Brown is the complete opposite and doesn't eat meat.
Vegetarian?
No,
A
vegan.
celiac vegan.
He's
A celiac
Really?
vegan. So we got two meat eaters and one celiac vegan. So it shows that whatever you're eating, you can play AFL football. Like it's
a good balance. It's kind of like how like when leaders of the world or really big bands, they can't fly in the same plane. It's like we can't have the forward line all eating the same thing. Like what if there's no chickens? It's like, okay, Ben can still eat.
Yeah, together, all three of them together have got a really balanced diet, which is
Yeah. Oh, great.
essentially the way our forward line's working. I love the way how passionate. I didn't realise you were this passionate, Ryan, about the club.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the way you're talking about it, I can imagine the feeling's the same for a lot of people. Watching from the stands, who do you like the most at the moment? Because a lot of people, Cozzy Pickett's high up there.
I mean, Cozzy is obviously really exciting.
Present company excluded here.
Present company excluded. I honestly can't think of a... Like maybe when I was a kid, you have favourites.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I don't really. I don't know. I don't tend
You
to
don't have
have.
a badge
I mean,
anymore?
I do. I'm excited for Tommy.
Yeah.
Like that is because not that any of us in the stands ever stopped losing hope in Tommy. Like we were like cons, like keep him. All chanting that all year last year.
You had that whole chant going.
Yeah, never ever showed any doubt whatsoever. So to see him playing so well and just BOGing it's pretty cool. So I think him, that's really great. But then there's not really anyone. Like I love Petrarca. Like it's great to see Petrarca play so well because as a supporter from when he started, we all knew that it's like, when is that going to kick into gear? Because like he would show moments of those sort of like Dusty Martin style like explosions. Snippets. And it's just like, God, when that all comes together properly, it will be pretty unstoppable. And hence, here we are.
He's pretty unstoppable.
Yeah. So look, I don't like singling people out, but the exciting thing is every single player on the team now has the potential of being that day's favourite player.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
pretty
a good
cool.
way to put it.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I actually left the ground thinking that we had no one that really dominated on the weekend. Although Clayton was good and Tom kicked 3 1/4.
Jim Jordan had 37 pressure acts.
37
Yeah,
pressure acts.
God.
I didn't-
God, when we were watching in the stands, like, God, another pressure act.
Another one.
God, it's
He's
great to see those
standout
pressure acts.
performer.
Yeah,
JJ.
or as we call them, PAs. Yeah.
MCC.
MCC.
Yeah,
Yep.
so
Yep.
you're well and truly in that sort of crew.
Named down at birth.
Yeah.
Got it when I was about 17, 18.
Yeah, right. What's the
Yep.
waiting list now? Do you know?
I don't know. I'd say it'd be well above 20 years now.
Yeah.
I've no idea. But there was a couple of years then. I guess this would probably be pretty common. Like there was a couple of years where I considered giving it up.
I reckon everyone has those years.
Yeah, but God, am I glad
You
that I
gotta push
did.
for all.
Yeah, I was lucky that I didn't have to, but it was well worth.
There's
the
There's
investment.
years when you're in your young 20s when you think live sport's not for me,
Yeah,
and you just got to push through it.
Yep.
Because it'll come back.
yeah. It's like I'm out all weekend. I'm partying. I'm a party guy. I don't go to the footy. Then I do go to the footy. Yeah.
All right. We're talking a little bit about what you're doing now.
Yep.
the Ryan
Yep.
.com.
Yeah.
There's 11 Ys.
Is that the
11
case, or did you
Ys. It
stuff
sounded
that
like
up?
I said 11 A's.
Yeah.
So there's actually 11 Ys.
11 A's, that's another Ryan doing a similar thing. He's doing another project. No, yeah, so start of last year, I decided to start this website where essentially I made a commitment that I would make something, usually a video, every month and release it on the 11th of every month. And so I'm still doing that now. And it's not like affiliated with any brand or network. It's literally just a fun, like, sort of side project that I've been doing. And the reason I do it is to give myself some sort of like discipline or practice that forces me to kind of keep making stuff, because otherwise I'll just find excuses to not do stuff, and then a year passes and I'm like, what did I do with that year? Yeah, so here I am doing that.
And then your podcast with Hugh Van
Kylenberg. Yeah. No, so Hugh.
The amount of times I've said Hugh Van Gogh,
Hugh Van Gogh.
which is completely not that person.
No, he's no artist.
He's born in this decade.
This decade, you reckon?
This century.
Far out. You know who Van Gogh?
Yeah, a famous artist, but I don't know when he was born.
Do you know
Why
was he famous besides his paintings?
Which one did he paint? Oh, has he got some famous other stuff?
Well,
yeah.
No, you go.
No, you go, please.
Well, I mean, the thing, I don't know a lot about Van Gogh, but I know what I assume you know.
Yeah, what I assume everyone who ever mentioned Van Gogh on a podcast has to know if they're committing to going to it.
Yeah, so did he
cut his own ear off?
Cut his own ear off.
You never heard of that?
No.
Yeah, he was the original Chopper. Yeah, Chopper, huge Van Gogh fan. Yeah.
Did Eric Banner play him at all or not?
No, but that would be like quite an ironic role for him to play, to have to go through that again. They'd already have the ear molds done.
Yeah,
like it'd be kind of easy.
Saver,
Yeah.
Yes, The Imperfects.
So The Imperfects is a mental health podcast that I do with Hugh Van Kylenberg, and so Hugh founded the Resilience Project, which is a lot of people know about that now, and he's incredible. And I became mates with him about 5 years ago, and we just got along really well and had just really good chats, and we thought, well, let's start a podcast, and it's gone really well. Like, a lot of people are getting a lot out of it, and I mean, I've got quite a lot of interest in the mental health area, and being in comedy, I know a lot of people who struggle with depression or anxiety, and like so many, even non-comedian, a lot of people do. And the work that he does, I really love his approach. It's really accessible, and he just talks like a friend, and just but has all the research and the data, and it's all science based, and so we have a good time doing that.
Well, I mean, in our industry, we deal with it a fair bit as well. Lots of performance anxiety and stuff like that. But one episode I did want to bring up is the one that I actually told you that it was a ripping podcast.
Oh yeah,
the one that was about you.
I
actually saw a lot of similarities with where our club was at the moment and where you were at that present time. So the general topic was you not being able to appreciate or feel happy for Hamish's success.
That's
Hamish, your best
Blake,
friend, Hamish Blake.
Yeah.
Which was, I found quite ironic, because he's your best friend. You should be able to love when,
Totally.
which is, I felt, was similar to where our club was at, where there was times where two guys would go up for the same mark, competing for marks, or one guy would get 40 and the other guy would get 20 touches and be bitter about that 40. And there was times where that was happening in the past few years, and that's where our maturity's come this year a little bit with that growth. And I saw a lot of similarities with that podcast, and you didn't actually solve it till you were able to open up to Hamish, which was almost similar to, we weren't really able to solve a lot of our issues till we opened up and started talking about.
Oh, really? So you guys did that? You guys sort of...
I didn't make everyone listen to your podcast.
No, but like you all sort of spoke about it openly.
Yeah, we just spoke about where we want to get to as a team. There's guys that had individual accolades. They're not really worth getting if you're not playing as a team and not getting that success. And you're in a never-ending quest to be able to get your own TV show or something.
That was it's sort of, I guess, like any sort of, sport is a performance industry in the same way that I guess comedy or TV is a performance industry. But it's the moment that you stop realizing that it's not about you. It's like the moment that it kind of just makes it so much more enjoyable. Because you just take that pressure off yourself. And it's funny you say that, because even watching you guys play now, I feel like that's really, maybe it's an unconscious thing, but I feel that's quite apparent watching that it's not, because there's no need to be the star anymore. Because when you're winning, it's like everyone can celebrate together. But it's a shame that it takes winning sometimes to realize that.
It does, yeah.
Because it's like what they always say, and a good example of it is people like looking at comments. You know, if you're someone who makes videos, or even you do a post on Instagram, if you're like scouring the comments and you're looking for a really good comment, if you believe that, then you're going to believe the bad ones as well.
Yep.
And it's because we have a negativity bias, you're going to remember the bad ones.
Yep.
You don't remember the good ones.
Correct.
And yeah, like I think for me, when I realized that I didn't have to get my own TV show where I was the star, I didn't have to get that to be happy and to make a contribution and to have like some sort of purpose, which is going to make other people happy, you know, in the same way that you guys do. Like you guys are, you know, like literally making people really happy at the moment. Like that's a pretty incredible thing. And it is a shame that it takes winning to realize that, but that is always the case. And as a Melbourne supporter for my whole life, there are lots of games that I've been to where we've lost, but doesn't mean that you don't watch going like, well, they were trying really hard and there was some awesome stuff in there. It's the games where probably the ones that maybe were led by individuals trying to be the best in the team is where it maybe didn't gel, and maybe that's where it isn't like an entertaining game to watch or a, you know, happy inducing game to watch.
That's exactly what I wanted from that question, that conversation that we're having then. Like I can sit back now happily, and I've been involved in it myself, going for marks that I probably shouldn't have, and just watching Jake Lever take the mark instead of me brings happiness.
Yeah.
So you can see that I've been able to resolve it. Not saying I was that player that always wanted to be best on ground or anything like that, but there's a clear, I'm much more happier the person I am right now, and not necessarily in the best of form, but our team is, and I feel like I'm leading well compared to the player I was in 2019.
Yeah. Do you think being captain made you look at it differently?
It certainly does make me feel like I've got more people to care about.
Yeah.
Than myself. And it has made me think about my own values a little bit more. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And is that maybe why like sometimes players who are made captain in whatever team, sometimes it just doesn't work because they haven't reached that realization yet where it is about the team and they want to still be the star but also the captain, and maybe it's hard to be the star and the captain. Is that a fair thing?
I think people, well, we vote. It's a democratic process. I think you'd be hard pressed to find someone vote a captain in who has those behaviours. I'd always say, Max, that's why I think you were voted in, is because of your care has always been at a really. I think you know, it's undeniably one of your best traits is how much you care for all your teammates and the club. And
that's interesting.
so I don't think if you're getting voted in the captain, it's
for a reason.
You know what I mean? It's not because.
Yep.
So
yeah, okay.
Do you agree with that?
Yep. And I love how it got back to me. I almost tactically did that with the way I was pointing the question to eventually get back to how good of a captain.
And I didn't even notice. It's really well done.
Subliminal. Well done, Max.
You've got a viewer question.
Yeah, we have a few viewer questions.
We told a couple of people that you were coming in.
Okay.
This one hit home for me when I saw this because I also drive a ute.
Oh,
so there you go.
But you're someone who probably should be driving a ute. I'm not someone who should be driving a ute.
So we've got this young kid called Hamish who wants to know how the power steering on your ute's going.
Oh yeah, Hamish, hey.
Yeah.
Hamish
Lake.
Hamish Lake. Yeah,
he's a good young fella from Sydney.
Yeah. Trying to get into comedy, trying to like No, look, the power steering's good. I had a bit of an incident last year with a giant rat eating through the power steering tube, cable, whatever that thing is called. Yep. And the power steering didn't work, and then it was quite a saga in getting the car fixed because, as you know, Maxie, I spend most of my time down in Walkerville, down South Gippsland.
Beautiful part of the world.
And out there, it was a cold night. Parked the car next to the house. Clearly, there was a rat waiting to get warm. Got up under the bonnet, and then next morning, well, not only was the power steering stuff, but then the diesel had also just like leaked out the bottom. So yeah, anyway,
not great.
Bloody country life, guys. You know,
it's the worst.
The bloody
down
Amarok.
in South Gippsland, Walkerville's right near Lock, which is where my parents are.
Friends of ours. Your parents.
Are they friends of ours?
Have
they been on the podcast?
No.
We got to get them on the podcast.
Yeah, I was at Olive.
Olive on Lock.
Couple weeks ago.
What do you have? Just out of curiosity.
They had the soup.
Soup.
whatever the soup
Yeah,
was that
she
day.
used to make soup for the St Kilda players. And then once I got drafted, she did it for 2 more years and then worked out it was a pretty conflict of interest.
Yeah.
And that was around their grand final time and she was delivering soup to them.
Well, all the way from Lock.
Nah, she was originally in Sandringham.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Guys,
Makes
It was
a bit more
good soup.
sense.
It was good soup. They needed it.
Jeez, those St Kilda players are so demanding. No, we need it from Olive at Lock.
Last question before we let you go, because you've given us half an hour of your time,
No,
plus
that's
the
right.
extra 10 minutes we were chewing the fat at the start. Do you like golf?
No, never. I mean, I don't dislike it, but I've never got into it. But it is a sport that I wish, like piano, I wish I could become good at it immediately.
Yeah.
I think I'd struggle through the bad years of golf.
Well,
Yeah.
funny you ask, because Angus has actually just become good at golf.
God damn you, Max,
I
for bringing
heard-
it up. I said,
yeah.
don't you bring it up, because I would hate to talk about it any more than what I
I
already
heard
have.
like on that last week or the week before you talking about. So is it you that like broke into
Single figure hand,
Yeah.
yeah. So I got to 9.6, and there's 2 points that really came out of that when we went with it. The first is 9.6 rounds up to 10. Those are really single figures.
Yeah.
The second bit is, you'll just go back out to 10 and you'll be there for a little bit. You're just a visitor.
But
Sure.
please tell us you've maintained.
So I played a round at Royal Melbourne on Thursday with Stephen May, a big critic of mine on the golf course. Stephen May.
Is
by
he
the way.
good?
He's around you,
average.
isn't he? He's about 9.
Yeah, he's 6, but he plays at an easy course, so the scaling system probably. Well, I'm probably a little bit better than him. I think he'd be all right with me saying that as well, Steve. So,
okay. Yeah, pretender.
I'm
nothing
sure
I-
he's a listener.
nothing I haven't said to his face. Played with him. It was a bit windy, tough conditions, and had 35 points, which, for those who don't understand golf, is a good round.
Yeah.
I came in 9.2. So now not only do I round down,
You're basically 9, yeah.
but now I've got some real estate in the single figures region.
So you're
I'm
closer
looking
to 9 than
stay-
10 now?
I'm closer to 9 than
So
10.
you need a couple of bad rounds to go to 10.
I'll need a catastrophe
Yeah.
to go to outside of the 10s now. So
The headline on the Herald Sun today was Cloud 9, and I don't think they were talking about the winds.
that's it. I honestly didn't put that together, Ryan. And that's,
Oh, you should have.
that's why you're in the business and we're just sitting here. talking on a podcast.
You did have one more because you're a massive Hamish and Andy man.
Yeah, there was one. My brothers are also called Hamish and Andy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So
Yep, yep.
huge. It was a huge thing for us growing up. That was that. I was told Hamish this. My claim to fame at school was they were my brothers, Hamish and Andy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And didn't tell them the full truth, just
Yeah.
the partial truth. And I was very interested because you were on all the gap years and when
Yep.
they do all their competitions and stuff. And
Yep.
there was, I mean, Andrew, my youngest brother, thinks the funniest thing he's ever seen was you were introducing one of their events and you like, hi, it's Ryan Shelton, not from the Bosnian sitcom Get Down. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
There's no Bosnian sitcom called Get Down that you're aware of.
No,
So
no.
I've ticked that one off.
Yeah.
The second question is,
Well, not that I'm aware of, unless we Googled it quickly at the time. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm certainly not sure. But now, so I'm happy with that answer. And the second one I wanted to know.
Never been asked that before. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
we ask hard-hitting
We're
questions.
on cloud 9.
We're on Cloud 9. Bosnian sitcom Get Down is not real. And, I mean, there's that journey, the gap year journey is hilarious. And
Oh,
you're
yeah.
a part of it. What's the funniest thing that you've ever sort of seen or witnessed or on or off camera? I'm sure there's a lot that gets through the keeper.
The funniest thing. I mean, I can't think of the necessarily the funniest thing, but we had some like when we were in New York doing the first gap year season, and we were doing those Hamish versus Andy, the races, the challenges, because a lot of it is hidden camera. I mean, it was 2011, so only 10 years after 9/11, but still, like in New York, shooting hidden camera, even 10 years later, was still a bit dicey.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was just anxiety inducing. I hate hidden camera at the best of times because I just, you're just tricking. I just hate tricking people.
Yeah.
And then and then like you get something great. The tricky thing about hidden camera is, this isn't necessarily answering your question, but
That's all right.
The tricky thing about those hidden cameras is like, we'll shoot something and like the one that's just coming to mind is, I think it was called Stranger Racing. You probably remember better than me.
Yeah,
with
I
the
do.
balloons. Was that the
Yeah.
balloons one? Yeah. So with Hames and Andy had to clip a balloon onto someone without them realising it.
Yeah.
And then
How many meters gained with the balloon
meters gained.
Okay,
yeah.
so they walk backwards, they lose.
So it was Hamish versus Andy who would wear the balloon for the longest without them noticing the balloon.
Yeah.
And so that's like a huge investment of time from us shooting it. And so you just hope that like if you can finally get one clipped on that no one notices, and then they do finally they go for like 2 minutes. Then the thing that you don't see on camera is us then running after them, trying to convince them to let us air that on the show.
Give consent to be
Give
on.
consent, yeah. So because you have to get them to sign
They're not
a
going to
release.
watch an Australian TV show, are they?
No, not at all. But like, you have to go and say like, yeah, hi, we're from Australia and we're making a show you've never heard of, and we just made a fool of you by putting a balloon on the back of you. Do you mind if we use that on our TV show? And most people will be like, sure, just let me go to work or
Yeah.
whatever. But sometimes people are like, no,
Yeah.
I don't want you to do it. So then you have to like find a way to convince them to let you put it on the show because it was just really funny. So yeah, it's sort of not answering your question.
Mate,
but-
honestly, that's a secondary question. The Bosnian sitcom one was my main heavy hitter.
Yeah, that's what you're
I'm-
really
that's-
here
That's
for.
one I really want to answer.
you can go home happy. Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for coming in.
Oh, guys, thank you for having me. And in all sincerity, like, thank you for the year so far. It's brilliant. And I don't even want to say the month starting with S, but really looking forward to the rest of the year. And it's just so nice to be in the stands. We've enjoyed it for years, but to just really be there and see all you guys like playing with the belief that you will probably win and have the confidence, because it gives all of us the confidence, I think, because there's still comments of course there's going to be comments in the stands for ages of like, oh god, when's it going to end, because we're just not used to being in this thing. But I think the last two games, sorry to jump back into footy talk.
That's okay.
The last two games,
If you can get it back to me somehow as well, that'd be great.
yeah, I'll figure that out as I talk. The last two games I felt like have been really similar. I don't know if you guys felt that.
Carlton and Sydney.
Carlton
yeah, they
and
have
Sydney.
In
been.
terms of just like being challenged and
Yeah.
Yeah, and the way they were challenging us was the same.
Yeah, it just sort of is a really similar feeling where it's like, well, it wasn't like a blow 'em out of the water, but it never felt like I'd start getting nervous, and then I'd look at the scoreboard and we were like 3-4 goals up. I was like, this is a weird feeling. It's like it's just under control in a way that hasn't been for a while. Everything feels under control, and that's, yeah, as a left brain person, that's pretty good.
Are you a travelling fan at all? Just before we go, would you travel?
Would I travel now?
Yeah, would you travel to go watch us?
Oh, interstate?
Yeah,
Yeah, I reckon I
come
would.
to the Alice Springs game.
Oh, when's that?
Friday night footy, 3 weeks.
Gee, that'd be fun.
and bring your Positive Lingers shirt and wear it to spread
Yeah.
exposure like we were talking about before.
In Alice, that'd be massive.
So
Actually.
there's an actual agenda to it. Yeah, definitely come enjoy the game. Obviously, wear the Positive Lingers t-shirt.
I piggybacked on Max's point there.
Yeah,
And obviously
You don't have to
one
bring
or
it,
two, chuck it up in your story, tag positive.
yeah. Obviously, just change your handle on Instagram, like all that normal stuff. Just get the word out there.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Do you know a D's fan who hasn't yet signed up as a member? Well, by referring them, you can save $50 off your 2022 membership. Plus, Angus, the new member will receive $50 off their 2021 membership.
$50 off.
$50.
That's unreal.
That's what it says here. All you need to do is send them to melbournefc.com.au/refer, where they can discover their perfect membership. What would be your perfect membership? Who would be on your membership card?
I'd get you, mate. You'd
Yeah.
be on my membership card,
And you just want the basic home game one, or you want to go to the mall, or
I think I'd be a home and Victorian away games as well.
yeah, and
that
the
a
Alice,
thing?
and the Alice Springs one.
I'd be coming to the Alice Springs, of course.
Anyway, the offer ends at the end of the month, so that would be May
So
30th.
giddy
How
up.
many days in May?
Something. I reckon it's
30
30.
days. It's April, June, September, and so it's 31 in May. The offer ends at the end of the month, so act fast. The more members you refer, you save. Welcome back. We just unpacked a lot then, didn't we?
Fair bit. Missed our sponsors.
Missed our sponsors. Do you want to give them a plug?
Do we have that Zurich script to read
Oh,
again?
hopefully
or-
that's already been given a run in the ad. Because normally they do an ad break and they go to the Zurich plug.
Okay, Zurich, Barbie Onions,
East End Wine Bar,
squash.
No
Fitness.
competing
Yeah.
apparels to fitness.
None of that. Olive on Loch. That's about
Oliver
it.
Lock, yeah, good one.
Soon to be friends of ours.
Let's go to this segment.
It's Benny Gibson.
He's got the news. He's got the news.
Tough act to follow today. Ryan, a comedian, so it's going to be hard no matter what. He stole my Positive Lingers t-shirt, so that's a bad start.
That was a bad start
But
for the day, wasn't it?
We've got a keep cup for you.
Thank you.
Number
Yeah.
30.
37. I was
Something-
taking Kate Chandler's.
Very insignificant number.
Kate Chandler
Did I say that right?
says hi. And you used to wear number 37.
I did.
That was
It was more along the lines of it wasn't like a good
Yeah,
1 to
okay.
10 keep cup. But
on
anyway.
Kate Chandler. So you're talking
Yes.
about meters gained. -3 he had yesterday.
There you go.
Yeah, which
A
you're
good -3.
saying he was better meters gained when he was sub and didn't get used
Correct.
Yeah.
than the weekend. That
He
is
had-
because the hammer went backwards
Yeah.
to set up the the Spargo goal.
So
that is
that's
ridiculous.
why-
That is a shocking stat.
Stats can be misleading.
Yeah.
That's-
You
Sorry,
worked
mate.
at Champion Data.
Time
didn't
out. That's not a shocking stat. That's the Wingers Club. That's what we build our entire foundation on. Is the Wingers Club.
So a goal assist can be -3.
Well, think about it, mate. If think about this, you've got a snap from the boundary, and
I've
you
already shut down. I've shut
understood.
down.
All right. Well, let's keep going.
So we're talking about pressure acts.
Yes.
Yes.
So obviously James Jordan had 37. How they are, I guess, determined. So it's if you're in the vicinity of.
You're about to say facility.
I was going to say facility. I corrected myself. So that's all right. In the vicinity of.
Oh,
a
it's so
player.
funny when people get stuff wrong on the podcast, isn't it?
I can't help but laugh.
So, for example, a contested midfielder is naturally going to get more than a key forward because they're around contested ball.
Makes sense.
But you've got different levels of pressure. So I saw on Twitter that Essendon were at a 2.6 on the weekend, which is a lot, but no one really knew what it meant. So you've got generic pressure, which is like a rating of a 1.8. You got a 2, which is when you're chasing and closing, and then physical is 3. So that's a tackle or a bump on a disposal. So you can see by being at 2.6, it means you're pretty much
So he had
all disposals.
13 tackles.
So he had 13 tackles.
So shouldn't he therefore be on 39 points no matter what?
No, that would be. So 37 pressure acts is the total of pressure acts he had throughout the day.
So they may have a different points allocation.
Yeah. So
Okay.
his rating may have been 2.2 or something like that. I don't know what his
okay.
rating is.
But he could have had 100 pressure points. That's
Yeah,
what you're saying.
exactly right. So it's a confusing thing, but
Yeah, I'm very
interesting
confused.
nonetheless.
News?
Other news? Well, Nathan Jones, there was a few concerns last week that he may have had a bad hamstring injury,
Yeah.
left training in Casey Fields. He should be available this week. He'll be assessed later in the week, but positively it wasn't a
1
month.
week hammy.
Yeah, positively it wasn't a month or
Yep.
6 weeks or anything like that. So good result there. I don't have a lot of news for you. to
Did
be
you
perfect.
see it was Mad Jack's 100th
100th?
AFL game on the weekend?
Chaired off.
Chaired off.
Yep,
only
I did
his,
see that.
I would dare say only his fourth for Casey.
Yeah.
So 96
Werribee.
he got out at Werribee. Well,
Good win for them, 57, 56.
I'm
Yeah,
trying
1 point win over
I'm trying
Geelong.
to think if he played them all at Werribee, he would have. He wasn't a North Ballarat man. No, he wasn't. I played him in Werribee in one of my first VFL games, actually.
Did
Fun fact.
North
Where-
Melbourne become their standalone
but-
in the back end of his time with North?
No, they were at COVID. Oh, yeah,
They
maybe.
may have had a year there.
Yeah, he might have had a couple of North Melbourne VFL
That's all right.
games,
Yeah.
potentially. I've got a couple more.
Yeah.
Chandler finally got out there.
Yeah.
Our
Jeez, he got stitched up pretty
our
hard.
newsreader number 2.
The news hound.
Yeah, he's big on trying to keep his averages because he had 8 tackles in his first game. That's unfortunately it's now I think he's averaging
2.
less than 1 a game, which is upsetting. But it was good to see him out there. He got a genuine shower.
Well, that's why he got stitched up. Usually a shower consists of Gatorade and water.
Yep.
I reckon I saw 3
Milkshakes.
protein,
Yeah,
like milky
Clayton
shakes.
Oliver and Jaden Hunt. Yeah,
That was, I'm not sure about
wasn't a
that.
fan of that. We go to Adelaide for 2 nights this week. So Hobart, we had to fly in and out because North Melbourne were in Perth and there
Yes.
was a COVID situation. Now it's gone the complete other way. There's no COVID in the country, and all of a sudden we're going to have a 2-night stay in South Australia,
The city of churches.
the city of churches, against the Crows.
Great
Now
place
we
to
had
be.
a goal at match committee last week,
Missed.
and we missed 0 from 3.
Yeah, we were nowhere
we had
near it.
3. we only had one change, but there was about 6 on there. Carlton had 3 and we had 2, so 5.
So 5. Well, we got a certainty.
I
we
will
reckon
add,
this week.
it is getting confusing because they keep, if like the sub doesn't play, they try to put them in there.
And teams weren't out on Thursday night.
No,
Why
it's the Thursday night this week. They pushed it back. Yeah.
not? I'm going to say Tex is in.
That's our certainty.
Yeah, so I said the Conning last week and missed. I'm going to say Tex this week.
Who do we think from our side of the ledger?
And I think Jackson and Viney are both, I'm guessing, available for selection. Do you have any more on that?
Don't have any more on that.
Speculation.
That's speculation. Okay. Well, if
So
they're
who-
available and Melksham
What I wanna
again
ask
would
is
be thereabouts.
Who are you dropping?
Oh, well.
If you're going to dive into the segment,
I mean,
give us names.
I'm not unchanged for mine.
yeah.
Safe. I feel like
we're
this
gonna say
segment
unchanged
could
every
go
week, aren't we?
unchanged quite regularly. I'll tell you what did change. Nice little segue. This Adam Tomlinson's Twitter profile picture. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
So you gave him feedback.
There you
got
go.
it.
That is good news.
Yeah.
Well, who has a display picture of them losing the game? That's like me putting the photo of missing the goal against
Oh.
Geelong in 2018.
No, I can't. Well, to be honest, it's not something I've ever really looked at. But no, I think that's probably
He's been
that's good for Tomo.
active on Twitter still,
Yeah.
tweeting once a day. It's great. He
Good.
tweeted about the MotoGP last night. And
There
then
you
I
go.
realised from that, like I hated that tweet. That was so boring reading it. And then I'm like, people must think that when I tweet about the Giro.
No,
People think
not
that
your
when I tweet about
cycling tweets,
cycling.
mate. Not your cycling tweets. I don't have any of it.
Do you
They're
want
the
a Giro update?
Yeah. How's what's his face going?
What's his face? Egan Bernal. Is
Yeah.
that the Colombian you're talking about?
Egan.
Stage 10, I gave an update, or stage 2 last time. Stage 10 last night, and there's a bit happening. The Aussie Caleb Ewan's won 2 stages and has now left the Giro due to a knee soreness.
So
But
he's in
a
trouble.
Colombian is winning and looks to be probably going to win the whole thing.
There you go.
You lost me there. I've got a question for you though. So Tomlinson's been out. You always walk a lap with him. Gawny arrives pretty early. Walk a lap of the ground.
Yeah.
Jake Lever has been the replacement. How did you organise that?
Hence why I played bad.
It's happened
Well,
both
you've
weeks.
tried to replace someone with Jake Lever once before, and it went terribly.
So Lever and I have been sort of forced into this friendship because we're Peninsula boys. So no, look, I'm a big Jake Lever fan. I reckon he's a good person, good footballer, and I enjoyed the walk. Sam Wiedemann, who you're a big fan of.
Yeah.
How many photos did you take of Sam Wiedemann over the last 3 days?
Gawny goes to me before the game. You put the pressure on. Essentially said in the reverse way not to take any photos. I put up one. I had to put up one. He was back. Put
Yeah.
one up at Chandler.
But then
put
you
up at Wiedemann.
commented on your own Twitter profile, which we won't say what your handle is because
Yeah.
we don't need you getting more followers out of this.
Fair.
Saying how sexy does this man look? Or
No,
something,
I
was it?
quoted bringing sexy back as
Bringing
a song.
Sexy back.
Well, his nickname,
His
is
nickname
Big
is
Sexy.
Sexy.
I thought it was
The
quite
best
funny.
nickname that
Yeah.
ever was.
Yeah,
Ever
so
will be.
I think that's fair.
What is it? Ben Gibson 18?
I think that's Instagram. It doesn't.
Why
matter.
18?
I was a big Brad Green fan. growing up.
You're a Melbourne supporter.
I am.
There you
So
go.
your dream job over Champion Data?
Nah,
Or was
Champion
it-
Data was a very good
Or
job.
was it doing That's Good for Footy shows?
Yeah, that was good. Met you there as
Yeah,
well.
I met you at
So-
That's Good. That's
Have you
That's
ever
Good
been
for
on that?
Footy.
Yeah. I have actually a couple of times.
I just want to finish.
Let's.
Unless you do have anything.
Nah, I'm done.
I just want to talk about. Did you know that this is a vodcast?
No.
Did I say that
Well,
right?
look.
A
What I
vodcast?
will say is that there are 3 cameras right now filming us.
Yeah, but I just thought it was for snippets.
Yeah, so that's agreed.
Yeah.
I thought we were snipping.
But we're a vodcast on YouTube, I'm guessing,
And the Melbourne website.
and the Melbourne website.
There you go.
I had an interesting encounter. I was driving home from actually hanging out with Jake Lever at an American barbecue joint in Red Hill called Red Gun Barbecue.
Friends of ours.
Friends of ours now. Hopefully, I'm getting a free brisket next time I go.
We'll have to take a podcast there one day.
Yeah, we will. I went to a petrol station about 9 p.m. in a suburb called Tutgarook, which is in between
9 p.m.
Ryan Rosebud.
Tutgarut.
Yeah, 9 p.m. Tutgarook. Probably not expecting too many people there on a winter's night. I think it was just Wednesday or something. And the guy behind me in the line goes, "Gawny!" And I obviously turned around to greet what this Gawny person had, and he said, "I was just watching your vodcast in the car," which I don't.
We don't
Hopefully,
condone
someone
that.
else was
Don't
driving.
recommend that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what are the odds at Tutgarook at 9 o'clock, someone's watching the Gus and Gawny vodcast? I've never even heard of it. So, hi everyone out there on YouTube and
Yes.
the Melbourne
All our
website.
vodcast friends.
All our vodcast friends. And Tutgarook, man, didn't get your name, but I'll see you there Wednesday, 9 o'clock.
Part of the reason when I said that the show drags and whatnot, the longer it goes, the harder it is to edit. I don't have to edit most of the time.
Yeah.
I've done it a couple of times, but Richo and Steph, it's a big edit when it
Is
goes.
that why he's been wanting us to cut
Yeah, he's
up?
been doing
wrapping
this
us up
for the last 15
10
minutes. Yeah.
All right, so we're done.
We won't keep Richo any longer. Thanks for it. It was a great podcast.
It was a great podcast. Ryan Shelton and Ben Gibson. It
Top
was
shelf
it
stuff.
was a good duo.
Two great guests.
See you next week.
See you next week.